Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is a Cube U30GT2 tablet, which is a 10-inch tablet with a Rockchip RK3188 quad-core ARM Cortex-A9 processor, one of the fastest ARM Cortex-A9 processors around. It's got 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, and a high-resolution 1920 by 1200 pixel display, which looks pretty good, especially when you're looking at pictures or reading comic books or magazines or web pages and other content. So what's the catch? It sells for $269, which sounds like a pretty amazing price for this tablet. And it really pretty much is. It's the only real catch is that this is a Chinese tablet, which might not have the same sort of support that you might expect from a Western brand that you have heard of. In my personal case, the only real problems I've had with it are that the wireless isn't quite as strong as I would like it to be. So I'm doing this video down in my dining room because the dining room is right next to the living room where my wireless router is. And here, performance is pretty strong. I'm connected to the internet. I have no problem streaming video, surfing the web, and doing other things. Up in my third floor office, where I tend to do most of my videos and most of my work, wireless is not nearly as strong, and I have difficulty connecting to the internet. So if you were going to pick up this tablet, you might want to consider how far away are you going to be using it from a router. I have no problem using it in coffee shops, other situations. It might just be sort of my strange circumstances that I just happen to have my office farther away from my router than most people would. In terms of build quality and hardware, we've got a mini HDMI port, micro SD card slot, micro USB, speaker, there's another speaker on the other end, headphone jack, power volume, and that's about it around the sides. If you look closely, you can see that the second stereo speaker is over here. On the top, we've got a 2 megapixel camera and a light sensor. On the back, 5 megapixel camera and an LED flash. If you push pretty hard, well, not even that hard. If you push down here in the center, you can feel that this plastic bit sort of gives a little bit, which is one of my only real complaints about the build quality, but that's not something you're likely to do very often. It's something I probably noticed mostly because I'm testing this and sort of kicking the tires to see if I can find problems with it. But, you know, if you hold it around the edges, it works pretty well. As you can see here, it's a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. You know, most tablets are, to be perfectly honest. It's got a metal strip around the sides, top and bottom are plastic, and you've got edge-to-edge glass. In terms of overall performance, as I mentioned, the RK3188, in my tests, it outperforms an NVIDIA Tegra 3, Samsung Exynos 4. It might not be quite as fast as some of the newer ARM Cortex-A15 or Qualcomm Crate processors, but it's one of the fastest chips. It's much faster than pretty much any chip that was out in 2012, other than maybe the Samsung Exynos 5250. That's in terms of sort of raw benchmark power. In terms of running apps, let's take a quick look at some of the things that you can do here. Let's go ahead and open up a new browsing session. See that typing on the keyboard is pretty good. Some tablets I've noticed you get a little bit of lag when you're typing on the keyboard. Not really a problem here. Should probably wait for the web page to load fully. Okay, so it's loaded. We've got pinch to zoom, we've got scrolling. Loads pages reasonably quickly. Video, let's go ahead and stream from YouTube. This is a 720p HD video.
Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0, which is a new tablet with a quad-core processor, an 8-inch OLED by 800 pixel display, and what makes it different from other 7 to 8-inch tablets.
So video looks pretty good. Upscales to the high-resolution screen without a problem. Netflix works just as well. You can read books using the Amazon Kindle app or other applications, and again, text looks pretty good. It's a little sort of hard to see what's going on here because of the brightness of this light, which is right over me, but overall I'm pretty happy with the reading experience, and I read through most of a novel using this book, which is one of the ways I like to test tablets, because I can switch from the novel to check my email, surf the web, do some other things. Comes with the Google Play Store, and everything sort of works out of the box. Most apps run just fine. And runs games pretty well too. Better than I can play them anyway. Screen rotation works, although I tend to find 10-inch tablets are a little bit awkward to hold when you're in one hand, so I wouldn't necessarily do this a lot unless you're, say, reading a magazine or something where this orientation works well. It's not too top-heavy, but the tablet weighs about 1.4, 1.5 pounds, measures about 0.4 inches thick. So overall, pretty impressed with it. The biggest problem is the Wi-Fi performance, not quite as good as on some other mobile devices, and it's in the past couple of weeks that I've been testing it, at least twice, I've had it sort of randomly reboot on me. It's a little bit difficult to say if that's a problem with the hardware or the default software, or if it's because I'm running a custom ROM. So what I'm actually running right now is a version of the firmware which has been modified, pre-rooted, and the default language set to English and some of the Chinese apps that come with the tablet removed. I did that to see if I could help improve the Wi-Fi performance. It helped a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. So it is possible to install custom firmware on this. Right now, most of it is pretty much based on the 1.0.3 firmware release as of mid-April 2013. That may change. It runs Google Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. That may change. The manufacturer has released at least one software update so far, so that's good, because you don't always get a lot of software updates from Chinese manufacturers. So overall, in terms of the build quality, the performance, the software, pretty good. And the ability to install custom ROMs if you want to is available, which is something that's nice. There's a little bit of a developer community already forming around this tablet. As I mentioned, about $269. I got this particular model. It was sent to me by the folks at Geek Buying, and so that's where you can get it for this price. You can also find it at a number of other retailers or at AliExpress stores. And I think it's a pretty good value for the money. If I was going to buy it for my house, I'd probably invest also in getting a Wi-Fi range extender so I could use it in my office. But if you don't plan to use it on the third floor while your router's on the first floor, you might have a better experience. So there you go. That is a quick look at the Cube U30GT2 Android tablet with a 1920 by 1200 pixel display and a quad-core Rockchip processor. You can find more details about this tablet and a more detailed review at Liliputing.com, as well as information about all sorts of other mobile computing devices. This is Brad Linder with Liliputing.